When it comes to picking an e-bike, mountain bikers have more choice than ever, and that's not just between different brands of bike, but between the different styles of e-bike. Light support, full support, big battery, low weight, it's hard to know what will be best. Lined up here, I've got 3 e-bikes from our range that show you pretty much all the essential different styles of e-bikes you can get, with the e-ONE-SIXTY SL, the e-ONE-SIXTY CF and the e-ONE-EIGHTY. Now, if you were wondering what we mean by full support, it's basically any e-bike drive unit that produces a torque over around 80 Newton meters. In our case, we use the Bosch Performance Line CX drive unit and Shimano's EP801, both of which deliver 85 Newton meters. Now, torque is the twisting force that the unit delivers. It's basically what's going to get you up and over obstacles. And, of course, higher torque makes the support feel much more muscular. The torque also feeds into the overall power the drive unit delivers. By law, all pedelec bikes have a maximum continuous power output of 250 watts. But full support drive units can deliver much higher instantaneous power of up to around 600 watts for a shorter amount of time. And they also do this without you having to spin the cranks like mad, as is often the case with light support units. When it does come to light support units, we use the Bosch SX system, which is arguably much more of a mid-support option as it delivers 55 Newton meters of torque, but an impressive peak power of 600 watts, although that does come at a much higher RPM. The benefit of a light support drive unit is that, of course, it's substantially lighter than a full support unit at around 2 kilos versus 2.6 to 2.8. Now, this is the heavy hitter of our lineup, the MERIDA e-ONE-EIGHTY. It's a real bruiser of a bike with 180 millimeters of travel at either end, so it's ready for some seriously rough and wild terrain with a strong aluminium frame and tough kit to match. It also has the biggest battery of any of our e-bikes, with an 800 watt-hour removable unit that can actually be boosted by a 250 watt-hour range extender, all of which powers a full support Bosch CX drive unit. As you'd imagine, all this range and all this travel makes it ideal for riders that want to ride seriously tough and rough trails, whether that's out in the mountains or in the bike park, and to be able to do that all day long. While we've fine-tuned the geometry and fitted mixed size wheels to keep the bike feeling fun and agile, it is still a big bike, and that means you do need to muscle it about. So, if you're a smaller or lighter rider, this means it could be much more fatiguing on tighter, twistier trails. Though, that said, the weight will keep it tracking true on rougher ground. Now, if you still want all the full power support of the e-ONE-EIGHTY, but in a lighter overall package, then you might be best off looking at the e-ONE-SIXTY CF. With 170 millimeters of travel at the front and 174 at the back, this is still a bike that'll tackle some serious terrain. But thanks to a full carbon fibre frame and a 600 watt-hour battery that's fixed in the down tube, this bike is an awful lot lighter, which makes it much easier to throw about on the trail. Thanks to using Shimano's EP801 drive unit, there's also no compromise when it comes to hill climbing ability. And with our optional 360 watt-hour range extender, you can still get some serious distance and climbing done. Now, this bike is basically the full power all-rounder, but it's still a ride that very much feels like an e-bike, which is where the e-ONE-SIXTY SL comes in. By using Bosch's lightweight SX drive unit and a 400 watt-hour battery built into the carbon frame, the weight, and therefore the riding experience, is much closer to that of an unassisted bike. With 160 millimeters of travel at either end, it's still really capable on the descents, but we fitted lighter weight components such as lighter fork, wheels and tyres to keep the overall mass down. That said, with the 55 Newton meters of torque, there's still very much a helping hand of assistance, but it's a bike that's best suited to riders that still want to put in a fair amount of effort overall, rather than letting the drive unit do the heavy lifting. The smaller battery and lighter weight means it's much easier to throw about on the trail. But of course, there's less assisted range on offer, though a 250 watt-hour range extender can be fitted to offset that. So, which of these bikes is best for you? Well, to know that, you're going to have to figure out whether you're willing to sacrifice weight and a little bit of agility to have a supremely capable and tough bike like this e-ONE-EIGHTY. At the other end of the spectrum, you can get low weight and almost uncompromised handling with the e-ONE-SIXTY SL. But you're going to have to put in a little bit more effort to get to the top of the hills. Of course, that means in the middle we have the e-ONE-SIXTY CF, which strikes a balance between range, weight and ride feel. It could be the Goldilocks choice for some. Anyway, if you'd like to find out more about any of these bikes, check out in the links description below for some in-depth information. And thanks for watching.